Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I live in Mountain Village, Colorado. If you want to find out anything about me, you can go to MySpace where I have a page. This here deals with China and Taiwan. And what my idea here is how to avert a possible war between China and Taiwan in which possibly the United States could find itself getting involved. And it would be a very bloody war, and it could even turn into a nuclear war. There is a way, possibly, that China can take back Taiwan without Taiwan losing what it has today, primarily its freedom. What China needs to do, and they need to talk to the United States and the rest of the world about this, and especially the people of Taiwan and its government, is to offer Taiwan what they offered Hong Kong when the British had to give Hong Kong up, or back to the China when the lease over Hong Kong was up. And you go on the internet and study about what that lease was. But basically, the British pretty much owned Hong Kong for a long time, and eventually had to give it up. And the Chinese communists took it back over. But they gave the citizens of Hong Kong, who were mostly capitalists, their to gave them the right to keep their freedoms. A lot of their freedoms, not all of it, but a lot of it. And it was still somewhat of a capitalist society. Not entirely, but a little bit. What China could do, because all they're really interested in anyway, is to just bring back the lost sheep, as they would probably call them, citizens of Taiwan, back into the fold and under the Chinese government control. But here's what they should offer. They should offer the Chinese of Taiwan, or the Taiwanese, the freedom to continue to be a capitalist society. They will have their own governor who will rule over Taiwan. They can have the freedom to protest. They can have the freedom to come and go as they please, pretty much like they have now, except that they will be under the authority of the Chinese government. And China has a somewhat of a record of sometimes keeping their word about certain things, because China is going away from being a communist state anyhow, and so it would make more sense for China to just let Taiwan continue as is, because this is the only life and world that the citizens of Taiwan know. And it's good for business. It's good for the economy. And the last thing China, I think, government would want to do is go in there and start killing people again, like they did under Chairman Mao, which they murdered almost 39 to 70 million, or he did. But to go in there and just disrupt everything and cause chaos, it's in their own interest to make sure that Taiwan continues to function economically, and that there's peace, and that there's not bloodshed. It's in their own best interest. That's the kind of deal that China needs to make with Taiwan, and it needs to be backed up. China would need to talk to the United States, because we have an invested interest in helping China or Taiwan to remain free. We're even prepared pretty much to go to war to make sure they stay free. So it's really, diplomacy here could possibly solve this problem. There's no guarantees, of course, but at least it's an opportunity. It's trying. China would have to do something or present enough evidence that they would fulfill their obligations, that they would not go backtrack on a promise to allow the citizens of Taiwan to remain free in a capitalist society. To have their own governor, to have their own elections, and to have their own, well, maybe not their own constitution, but to have maybe a little bit different way of a judicial system, where you just don't get shot, just for any reason, and have your kidneys sold to the United States or England or somewhere to make a profit, like they do in China. But anyway, around, it could be worked out diplomatically, probably. But the citizens of Taiwan would need to be able to vote, including the government, as to whether they wanted to accept such a deal. This is how the war, a possible war between China and Taiwan, could be averted. China needs to offer Taiwan a deal, and just simply allow them to remain as they are now, except that they will be now under the Chinese government control, and to prove or provide evidence that they will fulfill or keep their word at allowing the citizens of Taiwan to remain free. Because I think all China really wants, they just want Taiwan back in the fold. That's all. They pretty much kept their word when it came to Hong Kong. I think they would probably keep their word when it came to Taiwan. Again, there's no guarantee, but it's a chance. It's an opportunity, because a lot of people don't realize this could turn into a real war, and the United States could find itself getting involved in it, and it could become nuclear. So it's not a small matter. It needs to be dealt with. It needs to be dealt with now, and this is how it can be done. You have to try the diplomatic way first. The citizens of Taiwan just want to remain free. That's basically what they want. They don't want to be treated like a lot of people in China are treated. If you like this idea, just pitch it to your congressional representatives. Any way you can pitch it, just do so, because it needs to get out, and it needs to make its way to the Capitol Hill and into the White House. I wish the Bush administration had received this idea and pitched it, but they did not. So maybe people in Congress will hear this idea and will give it a shot and try, see if it'll work. But it's an opportunity to avert a very, very bloody war that is going to hit sooner or later, and could draw the United States into it. And again, it could become nuclear. Thank you for your time, and I hope this enlightens you a little bit on this issue.